We have finally made it into Taipei. Let's begin. We are now at the accommodation at the hostel in the common room. Just to show you a little bit what it looks like. And it says that this is a social hostel. However, I don't really get that vibe, but pros and cons. We'll take it as it comes. The place seems really clean. It was slightly more expensive than the usual, but nothing crazy. Maybe $1 or $2 extra a night. And there's a 7-Eleven downstairs, so won't complain too much. And the reason why we're here hanging out for a bit is because we're doing some laundry. In Singapore, the laundry was about $22. Here it's gonna cost me maybe $6. So we're hanging out, fix the bag, we're just charging all the devices. And this is just something to do that's important when you land somewhere. You get somewhere, you land there, you fully charge your devices, you figure out the place, figure out what's in the area, do your laundry, and then we'll be set to go. This dude's walking a full-size pig on a leash. Can't say I've seen that before. We're now going to try one with butter and one with butter and cheese. So we'll try them both. We will now go to a night market, a food night market. And don't worry, this isn't one of those gimmicky night markets. I walked by it earlier. This time we're going to go just with the camera. And I'll just show you guys what it looks like from point of view. There it is up ahead. It's just stalls on both sides with one main lane. So we'll walk through the main lane. It might be a bit crowded and we might fast forward a lot of it, but we'll do it.
Hello， 要不要来一串？好吃的，加上一个面。这边啊。跟这牛奶跟这柠檬哦，看哦。で、あなたが言った私写真係り。本大一部，只要出去了，都得升。假如电话对上阳光，是追销的。你有山楂的吗？Channel นะสมอง Channel
Alright, well that was it. As you can see, it's mostly the same 5-6 things just repeated. The problem is that it smells really bad because there's a few durian stands and those smell really, really bad. Looks like there's some good stuff. I'll probably buy that watermelon drink. We'll check it out. We'll see. The watermelon drink is better than the Singapore one, but still not as good as the Thailand one, and it was still about $2. So I think it's just a universal price, and it's just quality at that point. So it's whatever country gets you the best quality for your buck. But this is it. Exact same thing. At least this one came in a bag though, in a bag with a straw, so that matters. And I know what you're thinking. Out of all the food there, I decided to get the same generic watermelon drink that I've been getting everywhere. That's exactly what I did. And I'll stand on it a second time. At least the 5th person I see with the exact same camera as me just filming themselves. So I'm not certain, but I guess this is more of a hot spot than I thought. Or maybe this is just a well-known area or what, more durian. This smells so bad, I need to get out of here. If anybody's ever smelled one, you'll know exactly what I mean, but we just need to get out of here. Man, that's horrible. Many places have fines. They have the sign where it's a $500 fine if you bring in a durian just because of how bad it smells. In Singapore, I think it could even go up to 10,000 depending where you bring it, like if you bring it in public transit. So anyways, we're in Taiwan. We're gonna maybe walk to another street that is supposed to be well known. We'll see how it looks like at this time of the day. Also, as a reoccurring theme, we'll see what's the goal in this video. Either we're looking for the mythical 120 yen Pocari Sweat, the mystical benches, or majestic benches, majestic staircases in Hong Kong. There was a few of them that we just didn't point out, but there was. Let's see what Taiwan has to offer. You know what, tomorrow we're gonna spend the whole day doing some historic stuff. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna see what it has to offer, maybe see some nature. Not quite certain what we're going to do with the rest of the evening, but right now that chafing between my legs that occurred in Singapore is happening again, and I believe it's this one pair of underwear the culprit. So these will quickly be disposed of and maybe replaced depending on what we find around here. That's important info. Don't cut that. It's very important. That's critical travel information right there. Don't cut that. Keep that in. There are bikes everywhere. It's a little bit like Bangkok. They're everywhere, but I'd say there's maybe even more. I was told this is a really busy street. I think I've come to the wrong place because it is not very busy. There's a bunch of benches, but they're all wet and none of them are of the standard that we have created. So I'm not even going to showcase. I think I'm in the wrong place. Oh well, we just keep walking. Starting to get the impression that maybe I'm just here at the wrong time of the day. I mean, there's just nobody. Look at these alleys. The photos online show this place packed. I'm the only guy here. Check out the street. There's nobody 100 feet in front of me, except for that one random couple that may or may not be hitting on each other, but I think that she works here and he works elsewhere and they met up for work. It's some sort of weird thing that's going on. Let me get closer so I could eavesdrop unnecessarily on their conversation, which is extremely out of character for me, but we'll just get you know what, actually I'm not even going to eavesdrop. I'm just going to make up a story. That's what I'm going to do. Don't cut the first part of this. Keep the entire clip. Don't cut the first part. Don't edit it to make it look like I figured out anything. Keep the entire thing. Anyway, these guys are flying by. Let me get off the street here. Let's go on the side. All right, this is the first country in a while now that we visited where they drive on the right side. And it's also the first country that I visited in Asia, apart from maybe Old Town Hanoi, where there's no English signs. All the signs are in traditional Chinese. There is no English signs anywhere. Not even in the tourist spots there's English signs. Nowhere is there any English or alphabet being used. Everywhere is just their own cursive. Oh, more durian. This stuff stinks. Just finished this watermelon beverage, and I feel like if it was hot outside, right now it's only about 27 degrees. I feel it was maybe 38, 39 like it was earlier in Singapore. Then this would have hit harder. But right now I'm only giving this a 7 on 10. But I feel this beverage could have hit harder just on the weather alone. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not saying we're not gonna have another one. We might try another one. Not tonight, but we might try another one. The entire thing is like, it's a full meal. You could skip a meal and just have this. I had 0 nutrients tonight. I mean, between the carbs of those 2 breads, whatever those were that I bought, which tasted really good, they were like croissants. Between those and between this watermelon beverage, I'm getting 0 proper vitamins and proper nutrition. But it's all good. We just press on. The place is famous. I don't know how, or if it has some sort of Michelin star, famous on TikTok or what. But there's a huge line to go over here, and it's twice I passed by and twice that there's a really long line. And the line goes all the way back. I don't even know what it is they sell, but it looks like this is a very popular place. So whatever it is they're doing it well, because they're making some cash. I had arguably some of the worst chicken I've ever had in my entire life. Almost as bad as Hawker Chan, the Michelin 1-star place. Nonetheless, we got this ice cream here to quell that disaster. But had to make note of it anyways. I'm not posting a photo. I'm not giving them any publicity. I feel like my videos are just a series of tweets. It's just me making tweets, saying them to the camera, and it just so happens I'm somewhere else or that I'm on the move. And then I just combine them all together. You know, it would not surprise me at all if people watch any of these videos and tell me that there's no reason for them to finish watching the entire video or to watch my other videos. I mean, you know how you always want to have a start, a climax, and then a finish? Not my videos. Just a collection, a compilation, we'll say, of the most strange of clips. It truly, really is just self-expression because it's just things that come to my head. I just say them aloud. And it's not like if you read something that I wrote, because when I write things, I could dress it up. I could dress up my words. I can't dress up, or should I say, I could dress up my literature, but I can't just dress up my vocabulary, or I can't add that extra emotion that perhaps other vloggers or video people can do. I just can't do that. What you see is truly what you get. Just me eating this ice cream that I personally think was a little bit too expensive. We should probably find a McDonald's and see how much a sundae costs. We should see if there's any around. Maybe there might be things written in alphabet, but apart from that, I haven't really found anything of that sort. Anyway, I think we just missed our street. Nonetheless, we press on. We take the long way. I'm still getting that brutal chafing between my thighs that's really ripping my left leg apart. But, you know, we're gonna press on with that too. Been feeling it since Singapore, but we continue. We don't let such minute things stop us from reaching our great... Okay, let me just finish this ice cream because it's starting to melt all over my hand. I'm just gonna cut the clip, finish the ice cream. What am I doing? Good morning, everyone. It's a rainy day in Taiwan. Today we'll be going for a tour, or with a tour, should I say, as I found out that the tour prices come out to the same thing if you calculate the cost of transport. So that's what we're gonna do. In the meantime, let me just show you these 2 donuts that I got. It's cost me about $3.50, and this is what they look like. That's one, and the other one looks to be like it's a strawberry one. That one. Anyway, we're gonna eat these donuts, and we'll see what they're all about. Actually, now that I do the math, it was about $3 for both, so about $1.50 each. Not that cheap. Prices aren't as cheap as people said Taiwan is. They said the 7-Elevens here are really cheap. I don't think so. Anyway, we'll cut this clip. Somebody told me that it always rains in Taiwan, and I'm starting to realize that's the case. Since I've gotten here, whether it's just a little bit of a drizzle or a full-on storm, it has not stopped raining, not even for an hour. We're only talking about like a 15-hour span, but that's still 100% of the time that I was here. Also, it's almost 8 o'clock in the morning. Why are no businesses open? Something else too I noticed with Asian countries, some of them in particular, including Japan. I noticed this in Tokyo as well, is that the day starts later. Starts later, ends later. It'll start at maybe 8:30, 9:30, and it'll finish at 7-ish. Whereas usually where I'm from, it's breakfast places too are open at like 5 in the morning and will close earlier. Here, there's just about nothing open at this time. There's no one in sight. This is a really busy district and there is no one. This is in front of the main station, by the way, just to give you an idea, and there's nobody around. Are these supposed to be benches? Oh no, these are the anti-car cement balls. Anyway, we'll head to the tour meeting point and we'll see what's up from there. We are right now outside Taipei main station. It's about 8:15 in the morning and there's very few people, as you could see. Really not that many people. Once again, maybe they just start their day late. You know what they say, do as the locals do, and we are now in Taipei main station, just hanging out, hiding from the rain. And it seems like there's 0 benches in this entire station, and now I understand why everybody just sits on the floor the way I'm doing right now. Maybe someone will get the idea to install benches. Or maybe not. Who knows how long this has been going on for. But here we are, just sitting on the floor, waiting for the rain to subside. And then we get on the bus. Tongue-shaped tea. Maybe I just read it wrong, but it did say tongue-shaped. I feel like they could sell that for a lot more to the correct demographic. Marketing 101, I'm telling you, there's a new version of business that I could bring to many of these places. They're just missing out. First thing I noticed is just how clean this path is. I mean, with the amount of trees, there's no vegetation on the path, and there's a lot of benches. A lot of benches here. Can't find benches anywhere in the main station, but yet here there's benches all over here. Picnic tables, benches there. Very clean here. Well maintained. Hey, look, some rocks. Oh, those aren't the real ones, I don't think. More benches here, I guess, just to look out into the open. If you could see there's a big pile of garbage, and basically that, from what I was told, is a beach cleanup that occurred. And that's the pile. Now that could be misinformation, but nevertheless I'm deciding to spread it anyways. But I was told that was from a beach cleanup. Definitely not a company that came here and just dumped all that. I tried to get some geological information on this entire rock formation, and it seems that I don't know if it's a translation error, but nobody was really able to answer my question. They were just able to tell me what kind of rocks they are, which I still didn't understand. But maybe or maybe not, I might put a snippet at the bottom of info that I pull off Google. You know what? I'm not going to put a snippet of info. We're just all going to be as ignorant as I am in this exact moment looking at these rocks. I could be looking at something historical and I just wouldn't know. This is in fact not mud. It feels like it's a hard surface.
如果您有意愿参加，请至游客中心集合，谢谢。各位游客您好，本园区将于上午10点提供免费的专业导览服务。
All this is rock, it looks like, because this is very solid.
请至游客中心集合，谢谢。
I like how this walk path has no fence or no gate. This is the way it's supposed to be. You fall, you crack your skull. But, sounds dangerous, however, it's aesthetic. Look at this, no fence. Okay, maybe here. But the rest, no fence. You fall right over here, you legitimately die on this hard surface. This is not mud or sand, this is very hard flooring. Your kid decides to run off the edge, well, you know, he's gone too. But it's aesthetic, so remember. Personally, I like it better like that. You know, you keep the aesthetic, you keep the danger, and you just, you know, Darwinism, really. This dial was used to calculate speed before they used radio waves. So they would look at the ships and then they would look at the degree, and that's how they were able to calculate the time of distance that the ship is covering. I said that horribly, but anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll cut this. Maybe it isn't rock. If there's grass growing out of it, maybe this isn't hard rock, but it definitely feels solid, despite it looking like mud. Let's not Google it or ask. Let's just remain ignorant as to what this platform is. You know, and the reality of it is sometimes you ask questions and then you get answers and then you think to yourself, wow, this was a lot less cool than I had anticipated. Sometimes not getting the answer is the best answer. Yeah, we'll cut that too. You know, I should be on Excel right now doing things that don't matter. But yet here I am on the northern coast of Taiwan, surrounded by some sort of rocks, and there's watching waves crashing against these cliffs. It really makes you wonder if you just don't work and you're not on Excel, will you find yourself in a place like this? Or you could be at home on Excel. We'll cut all that. Let's just cut everything, honestly. This is just horrible clipping. No fence, by the way, just a red line. No fence. You see, this is the correct way. Don't ruin it with a fence. Just put a little red line. That's the correct way to do it. See, that's what Hong Kong, or was it Malaysia? But one of them just had a lot of signage anywhere. Or was it Singapore? It was just signs everywhere, ruining the aesthetic. Stop that. Take out the signs. People fall, they fall. It is what it is. Shark meat. Or meat for the sharks. That's what it is. Keep it simple. That in the distance is the Queen's head, or head of the Queen, or something of the Queen. But there seems to be a huge line. If you look at it carefully, I mean, that neck is getting very, very thin. That is going to erode soon. There's only, I'd say, maybe a decade or two left before that thing just collapses. And there's a huge fracture in it as well at the base. So that thing's not going to last long before it falls. Apparently this rock is supposed to look like a big whale, but I think this is just another one of those Asian tactics to just sell you on tourism. So they just force your imagination to see things, and then they charge you money to go see it. It's just, see, they have some things done correctly in terms of business, but some things, like that tongue-shaped T, they can market that a bit different and make a lot more money. There's absolutely no whale shape here. Let's get out of here. Gotta be nimble on your feet here. I could see how people get hurt. I could definitely see it. Nobody looks hurt though. In North America here, this is just a lawsuit waiting to happen. Look at these lines. these passages. Kids here would be getting, actually, you know what? Not kids, adults would be getting hurt here. Adults of the spherical persuasion would attempt to come here, completely misjudging their physical capacity, dare I say delusional about their physical size, and they would definitely get hurt in these craters. Thankfully, here in Asia, there's not many individuals of the horizontal persuasion, and we love to see that. This is a statue of Mr. Lin Tianchen, and it's a reminder of his brave actions in March of 1964, where a student was swept away in these aggressive waves, and he then attempted to save the student. However, both he and the student died in the waves. Therefore, they erected a statue of him above to show the heroic deeds. Please see the interpretation signs on the right side of the platform. So to show his heroic deeds that were unsuccessful. And I can imagine they are unsuccessful. Those waves are really big. Camera's not doing this justice, but these are really big waves. See, that's cheating because it didn't look like a whale, but then they put a metal fin on it and now it looks like a whale. So that's cheating. That structure right there doesn't count. If it's not naturally occurring, you just don't put it. They put that fake thing on it. Now it's cheating. You can't do that. It's like at the end of the movie, The Prestige. They sort of cheat the audience. I'm not going to tell you more about that, but it does sort of cheat you. A really good film, by the way. I think it's the second time I bring that up. We're in Jifuan. I think I pronounced that wrong, but apparently it rains here the majority of the season, or the majority of the year. Over 200 days a year, it pours like this. Is what I was told. Could be wrong.
And this one is kind of interesting. You want to try it? Okay, let's go. Everybody already saw the view?
Allegedly, this is a nice view, but there's just way too much fog. We can't see anything here. Sort of adds an aura to it as well, but at the same time, you just can't see. This building here looks like it's straight out of Spirited Away. Don't know if it's the inspiration or anything, but it definitely does look like it. It's a famous tea house. Taiwan, famous for its tea, I think, maybe. It gives me the Spirited Away vibes. This rain is unrelenting, and good thing we took the tour because apparently the bus doesn't even run on weekends. Good thing we took the tour, else I couldn't come here, but I feel like the weather is really doing a number on us here. I feel like this would be a really nice background if it wasn't for this intense pouring rain. I think I might have took a wrong turn here because once again there's not many people. I most definitely took a wrong turn. Let's head back. The fog has completely taken over at this point. I mean, you can't even see 100 feet in front of you. The view we saw earlier is now completely non-existent. It's even creeping into the town here. On the streets you'll see some of the fog. Don't know how well the camera's capturing that, but needless to say, nothing really to do at this point. I mean, the weather is just that bad. That's how it is sometimes. Now I'm in a shelter here. I am underneath a top. However, all the benches are soaked because the rain is coming not only sideways but through this roof, which definitely doesn't have good structural integrity, and I should probably get out of here. This is also just a good time to say that, unfortunately, you know, sometimes you're just stuck on the cliffside of a Taiwanese old village with no real way to get out of here except for wait for the bus that's only coming in 45 minutes. So you just have to wait it out and hang out. Not everything goes to plan, or even if it does go to plan, not everything is maybe as exciting as it seems. The real issue here is not me getting wet, but more so my shoes. And even though I had them sprayed twice prior to going on this trip, the amount of water on the floor right now is crazy, and it's all streaming down. And because the streets are all crooked, there's deep puddles everywhere. In some places, completely unavoidable deep puddles. We just hang out and wait. We're gonna go in that 7-Eleven and hang out. That's what we're gonna do. I'll be honest, I don't even know how I got here. I don't think this was part of the tour. But here we are in the middle of some mountain looking at sculptures of horses and dragons. Imagine having something like this in your front yard. How cool would this be? Alright, let's get out of here. We seem to be at some observatory for this waterfall. This is like the Asian Niagara Falls maybe, but usually the Asian things are much larger in scale, yet this is probably the only time where Canada is larger in scale. Let's go take a look at this waterfall. Let's try to get close here without falling down a set of steps. Everybody seems to be taking photos where you could see the waterfall directly in front, yet I like the tranquility of this still water right here. There's just something about it. I just like the tranquility more than the rough waters of the waterfall. The rocks are cool in the distance, but the tranquil water, this is sort of a metaphor for my life where I usually try to stay away from the high impact action settings like parties, and where even at a party I'm just a wallflower, which would be the tranquil water. And as you can see here, there's nobody within 10 feet of me, and once more I find myself as a wallflower even here in an open setting. That was it. That was all I had to say. Let's just cut this clip now. I am getting poured on. Where's a bathroom? I need to piss like a predator. Let's get out of here. All right, I brought this up in Japan and I'll bring it up here. All you have to do is climb one small flight of steps, and as soon as you come over here, there's nobody. It's the exact same, if not even a better view, honestly, than down there. Yet, look at all the people. All you are, it's the exact same thing. I think it was in Odaiba, where you just have to climb one flight of stairs, and it's like empty now. You just filter out everyone with one flight of steps. They need to put that near all of these tourist attractions. One flight of steps, boom, there'll be nobody. It's crazy. Let's take a look from up here. All right, we have discovered some alternate viewpoints. Let's check out this one that we have right here. And I see that there's more the lower we go. We'll try to see if we can get down there and get other viewpoints even lower. Let's see, there's people going down. Let's follow them and let's see where this goes. Ah, this is the shot that you want. This is the shot right there. But yet everybody's stuck elsewhere, but this is the shot. We found the shot. All right, I don't think it's gonna get any better than that, but let's keep going down. But I think we found the absolute best shot. Nobody around on that little area here. Let's go down and see what else we can find. This one just doesn't hit the same. Nope, it just doesn't feel the same, this one. I don't know what it is, it's not hitting the same. It's like we're closer, but it's not hitting the same. Nope, can't explain it. Let's try going down again. just to really see if we could get the shots. Nope, still not enough of a good shot. Let's see, there's some guy streaming up here on Twitch. Unfortunately, I don't know any of these people. Or maybe fortunately, should I say. Who knows anymore. One of these couples, there's one of these French couples, 67 years old, and they're just complaining about everything. Oh, it's wet. Oh, it's raining. My shoes, my jacket. When are we done here? Guys, if you're not built for this, don't come here. Or take one of those tours. Nobody's telling you to come here. Just stay home. I don't know what to say. This is just how it is. By the way, I took 2 clips of me saying what I thought about that French couple that was complaining and mocking them, because the first clip that I made is not suitable for video sharing. That is how I will remain unemployable for the rest of my entire life. So we will post up the less expressive version. That's what we'll do. I think the train might be passing by. They're filming us, we're filming them. We're just all capturing each other, yet not living it in the moment. Would you look at that? It's like a 0 for 2 is what that is. It's a 0 for 2. They're capturing us, we're capturing them, nobody's experiencing it. Oh well, I will say, despite the suspension bridge being a lot smaller than the one in South Korea, it feels a lot more finicky. It's much smaller, but it still feels more finicky. I felt safer on that South Korean one that I took. If I still have a photo or something of it, I'll post it up right now. Or maybe I won't, depends how I feel when I'm editing this, if this clip even makes it. Alright, let's just cut it there. That's where people pay a lot of money just to send up some lanterns into the sky, and that's why we see a bunch of lanterns in the sky. So remember, we're sending lanterns in the sky, yet I can't drink out of a plastic straw. Crazy. But here we are. We're doing things wrong on the other side of the world, I'm telling you. Here they can do what they want. We pay the price. This is crazy. Can't even use a plastic fork, and yet we're throwing lanterns in the sky. It's crazy. See, I get scammed from this. It's crazy. I need to drink out of a cardboard straw. Here you could just throw a lantern in the sky. I don't know. It's got
burn up, or
I don't know. It's got to land somewhere. I mean, they don't put that much fuel in them, I don't think. Yeah, like, I mean, they're burning quite a bit, so they gotta land somewhere. Yeah, look, there's not that much to burn. Even that one, I mean, I don't know. See, I'm not the only one thinking about it. I'm not the only one wondering where do they go? You know what, let's not even look it up. Let's just, either we see one land or we just assume that turtles get caught in them and start choking and stuff. Can't even enjoy the 2 times a year that I go to Dick Ann's, I have to eat with a cardboard fork, the fries. Can't even use a plastic one, but we're just throwing lanterns. It's crazy. Man, we have it all wrong on our side. I don't see any turtles choking here. If anything, I saw more turtles here. So we have less turtles in Canada, but we have no plastic straws. Think about that one for a second. Think about that. I wonder if this is a live track or not. I mean, it's just everybody on it. People are crossing over it. I wonder if it's a live... I mean, it has to be a live track. There's a station over there in the distance. It's got to be a live track. Guess we're going to find out. This stall at the end over here is completely empty. So much space here. But once again, people won't walk the extra few feet or even a flight of stairs just to see what's at the end. But here we are. Alright, maybe there's nothing to see here. Maybe that's on me. I just want to see if the train passes, what happens. Look at this. Look at all these lanterns. And then I gotta sip out of a soggy cardboard straw. This is some real bullshit. This is some real bullshit. Yeah, this is just not right. Why do I have to eat with a plastic fork? Or sorry, with a cardboard fork when I could be eating with a plastic one? Yeah, look, there's more. It's non-stop. They're everywhere. A bunch of lanterns. Where do they go? Nobody knows. Let's get out of the rain. All right, it looks like I'm just gonna get out of here. The train's not passing. That's just what I'm waiting for. And the rain is coming down way harder. Let's just get out of here and find like a 7-Eleven or a Family Mart or something. You know, for some reason, and no matter where you are in Taiwan, in the city or in the mountains, it might be the sewage, but man, it smells horrid. It reminds me of the smell in Old Town Hanoi, that it's just lingering and it smells really bad. Anyway, I had to bring that up, but it's everywhere. You just smell it everywhere. And then you get next to the markets and you start smelling the durian. I'm getting nauseous. I think my stomach is starting to hurt because of it. You know what could fix that? A McDonald's sundae. That's what could fix that. The Chiffon Waterfall Park. It's like when you buy those t-shirts and the words are all completely misspelled. It's like when you buy the Burberry t-shirts but they say blueberry on them. Is this ours? Oh yeah, this is ours. Alright, time to head back on the bus. You will not believe it, but I just attempted to get a chocolate fudge sundae at McDonald's and the ice cream machine is broken. Devastating loss. Devastating. It is authentic, though. That's how you know. It's the real deal. Still devastating. Time to go find an ice cream at 7-Eleven or something. However, I feel like all the dairy products here are getting me sick. We must get a dairy product. That's just the way it is. So we'll figure it out. We'll find something. Where are we going here? We'll go straight. You know, I find myself thinking once more about what we did today with all those lanterns and everybody sending up these flaming lanterns into the sky to fall into the middle of the Taiwanese mountains. It's interesting how we drink from wooden straws so turtles don't choke on them, yet every country that drinks from wooden straws has no turtles. And every country that has turtles has plastic straws. Think about that one. Just walked out of the metro station. What is going on here? Haven't seen this many people around the city since I got here. That's an insane amount of green onion. That is crazy. Those are pork packs or beef packs, and they just roll it up and then they cook the exterior, I think. Also, I'm eating this crispy chicken, which is a 6 on 10 at best. I said, how can we go wrong with the crispy chicken at the market? Needless to say, you could still go wrong. We press on. As per usual, another market, just the same 10 vendors selling the same thing. All these markets are very, very similar to each other. And maybe I just spoke too soon. What do we have here? If you're wondering, yes, we did play with the Rubik's Cubes. and only one of them was good, but it felt like it was a bit flimsy. It felt like it would fall apart after maybe 100 or so times. And the reason why that chicken wasn't that good is because it kept being weird tendons in it, so it was scrap chicken meat. It wasn't that good. I mean, the price is cheap, but you get what you pay for. This market food is so overrated, and I'm starting to get really tired of this. All this market stuff. In regards to the footage at the church, there was a prayer in session, so I wasn't going to film that, obviously. But nonetheless, I went to the back, and then that's when I filmed the wall. And it's just interesting to see how it was 3D, the design on the exterior pillars and even on the back wall. So if you look carefully at the clip that I have, you can see that the mural was 3D, which I thought was cool. Yeah, so we walked out of the night market, and you know what would go super hard right now is a hot fudge sundae from McD's. So let's find one with a working machine, because I'm tired of buying these street food things that are always subpar. There, I know what we're getting. It's always the same thing. So that's what we're gonna do. It says it's about 80 meters down the street. If this machine doesn't work, this will be 1/18th as disappointing as the Hong Kong light show. So we're gonna go check it out, and we'll see if that ice cream machine works or not. I'll be the judge of that. Alright guys, I'm doing my best not to get mad here, but apparently Sundays are not on the Taiwanese McDonald's menu. We got the Oreo McFlurry, incredibly disappointing. Words cannot express the amount of disappointment. Just trying to breathe. Really, that's just what I'm trying to do right now. Anyway, I'm gonna enjoy this high caloric value Oreo McFlurry that I bought out of principle. Is to show them. I said, let me show them. And then I decided to spend twice as much as a sundae would cost on something I didn't necessarily want. So that should show them, right? That's how it works, right? I'll show them. Just cut upon further reflection, the McFlurry was in fact not an error, but a positive, life-altering decision. First one I've had in maybe 15 years. Wow, where has it been this entire time? Where have I been this entire time? Wow, I take back everything I said earlier. Running a little late this morning, but good morning nonetheless. First time I see the sun in 3 days here, so I'm just standing and basking in the heat on the side of this street. And we're gonna do that for a few minutes before we get the day started. Alright guys, we're heading to a mountain and we're gonna try and climb the peak because apparently we only have another 90 minutes of sunshine, which is likely going to go away shorter than that, so we'll try to make it to the top before the sun is gone and before the rain comes in. So anyway, long story short, race against time here. We need to make it to the station to the other station, and then we need to actually hike the mountain so we can get the views of the city before the fog comes in. Anyway, we'll just get to it. We are sweating profusely here. No sunscreen, no water, no pee break, but we made it before the sun goes away. I think there's more to go up, but we'll see. We didn't learn from Hong Kong. No pee break, no water, no prep, just trying to make it on time. There's a lot of webs here, so we're just not going to look up. But we'll get one last look at this pavilion, and then we're going to head back down and find a place to maybe wipe my face or something. Maybe apply some sunscreen, because the back of my neck is starting to feel it. And we made it down to the bottom of the hill. It wasn't necessarily a hard hill climb, or sorry, should I say it was a tough hill climb, but it was short. It was maybe 30 minutes, but the whole time it's just stairs. So it's not like there's a path or whatever that you need to dig through. It's just stairs, and it is very crowded, so that also adds to the difficulty. We made it up, had a good look for like 15-20 minutes, just looked at what's going on. Interesting to see that there's even some elders here going up, and that the husband and wife, usually one is pushing one or the other up the steps, and then they would rotate to push the other up the steps. Interesting how they manage that, but hey, if it works, right? Good for them. Now we're at the bottom, we're at a park. Still have a view of that main building. Maybe we should go to the base to see what it looks like, just to see what's in there, but it's likely just a trading center or maybe boutiques or... You know what, why speculate? Let's go look. Let's go look at what's at the bottom of what was the tallest building until 2010. I should add that I didn't make it to the full summit of the cliff, and that's just because the amount of spider webs was becoming concerning. Therefore, we stopped at the observation area and then we headed back down. And if we look in the sky right now, the clouds are already moving in from what was a perfectly blue sky 20 minutes ago. So I think we might have successfully completed whatever it was we were trying to complete. Walked by a washroom, obviously didn't stop. Should have. It is what it is. We press on. And here it looks like we're hitting the commercial area of Taipei. Maybe. We're going to take a walk down, and if we capture anything significant, I'll let you guys know. You better believe we got the Pocari Sweat after climbing a mountain. This one came out to about $1.10 Canadian. Yet, even though it's less expensive than the 120 yen mythical Pocari Sweat that we've been actively and quite intensively searching for in Japan, I forgot what I was going to say. We'll just cut all that. All right, we have good view of the base here, and it turns out it truly is a trading center or some sort of commercial space. I thought it would have had, the typical luxury brand retailers, but then it turns out that there's a mall attached to it that has all that. And the mall behind me, the Breeze Mall, which had a lineup, because it only opens at 11 o'clock, there was a huge lineup here and a big gathering of individuals. And this also has all the luxury retailers across the street. So the building itself is only commercial space, unlike the Petronas Towers and all those other buildings of note. That bar is called Extrovert and Introvert. Imagine that concept where you basically link people up. Not even necessarily for like speed dating, like just anything. You just link people up. People go to a bar, they either take an extrovert card or an introvert card, and then you force them to seat, like you seat 2 and 2, or you'll seat 1 and 1, and see where it goes from there. That'd be an interesting concept, or maybe just like an event that you could run at a bar. We only climbed 780 meters of stairs today. What's another few sets of stairs? At this point, reminds me of Hong Kong with all these stairs. As it happens, we entered the tower so we could use the washroom, which we did successfully. Finally peed, reapplied the sunscreen, and then I saw there was a Popeyes, and we don't have Popeyes where I live, and I said, let's give it a shot. And then as it happens, the screen where you order, sort of like the McDonald's where you type in your order, it breaks on me, and then everybody's just looking at me, and then I said it's time to get the hell out of here. So needless to say, I didn't end up having Popeyes. Not that I was hungry anyway, but I just wanted it just so I could finally try it and see what everybody, especially my American friends, are raving about. But that was unsuccessful. And now we will move forward to, not exactly sure where we're moving forward to, but we're gonna move forward. Check out that fountain. Let's get closer. Let's see what it looks like up close. There is no fence around that fountain. You can never have this in North America. Someone's parent or someone's child is gonna drown somehow. It's just gonna happen. Here, they just have it going. Anybody could run right through it, and nobody does. It would never work in North America. It's even a surprise as well. Look at it. It looks nice and calm now, and then it just starts jumping. By the way, and this isn't a rip on North America, we do a lot of things well, and we do a lot of things better as well. And one of them, especially, or should I say particularly in the Northeast, is we know how to walk. When you stop, you move to the side. Nobody does that here. On the escalator, we do stick to one side. You see it in New York, you see it in Montreal, we stick to one side. The other side is for walking. They don't necessarily do that here. Taiwan's a little bit different. Or should I say Taipei? Taipei does it. But the other countries do not. Obviously Japan does it, but that's just, they're a bit of an anomaly in this conversation. We know how to walk in that we keep a steady pace. In Asia, I notice people will slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up. Then they'll just stop in the middle. You don't really see that in North America. You try to do that somewhere in Montreal, or if you try to do that, especially in Manhattan, you're getting run over. If you think you're going to be walking on the sidewalk and just stop, you're getting bulldozed, you're getting shouldered, it's over. I mean, you're on the floor, you're looking for a lawyer, it's not, oh, look at this bench. Wait, that one's nice too. This bench right here has the perfect amount of shade. Look at this, and it has a good distance from the tree. Good distance from the tree. Good amount of shade. Decent view. Decent. City central, so there's only so much of a good view that you could have. But I have to say, so let's take a seat. I usually don't like sitting on the bench because then it's like I take away the mystique of it. Where the hell did everybody go? Why is there nobody around me all of a sudden? There was a bunch of people around me. Alright, everybody disappeared. But anyway, see, this is a good bench. I'd give this, you know what? I'd give this an 8. An 8 out of 10. Dare I say 8.5, only because I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt that it's in the city center and that it's hard to get a good quality bench in the city center. Whereas, you know, in more remote parks, it's much easier to get a high quality bench. Yeah, I say an 8.25. I want to say 8.5, but now, look, for the city, 8.5. If this was rural, I'd say 7.5. But for the city, 8.5. I think that's fair. I think all you viewers will think that's fair for this bench. It's well maintained as well. There's no webs on it. It looks like it was recently painted. That's what I'm thinking. I feel like I was saying something, and then I saw the bench, and I can't remember what I was saying. Why does this keep happening to me? It's not even the camera or not. This is just how my brain works. What's going on? Wasn't I headed somewhere? Where was I headed? What are we doing? I can't be the only one that this happens. Where was I? Why am I sitting on this bench? Where are we going? Oh, there's the tall building again. You know, before I couldn't get a good view of it, and now it's like I can't escape a view of it. I mean, now it's behind the trees, but you can still see it's definitely there. Where was I headed? Let's just keep moving. I don't even know where I was going. I feel like there should be water here. I feel like there should be water and it dried up because there's even a little bridge here. Why is there nobody in this park? What is happening? There was a bunch of people about a minute and a half ago. Anyways, let's keep moving. Let's get out of here. Let's cut the camera. How does this keep happening? There was a bunch of people here a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes ago. I think I really am living in a simulation. How does this keep happening? Why am I the only person here? There was a bunch of people. It's like I live in some sort of simulation. Now they're being loaded in. It's like we were lagging, so now they're not loaded in anymore. Does that ever happen? You know when you're playing Grand Theft Auto and you go somewhere and everybody disappears, then suddenly they load in at once or load out? Where's everyone? This is crazy. There was a bunch of people. You know what? Nobody's going to believe me anyways. You know when they say, I wish I had the camera rolling? I did have the camera rolling. There's nobody in sight. What is going on? Am I allowed to be here? That's always my first concern is I must be breaking some sort of rule or law or something when there's nobody around me. I don't know. Let's just get out of here. What's going on? Check this guy out. Alright, for real, let's get out of here. This is like a contemporary bench, basking in the sunlight on its own. Simple design. That's more of a contemporary bench, unlike the other one. They all have their pros and cons, you know. That one, it's purely for function. You could tie your shoe on it. You could fit more people on it, but it doesn't have that back support, and it is in the sun. You know what would go super hard right now? I'm not even gonna say it, but you know what would go super hard right now on this warm day? By the way, I really wish we had this weather yesterday. That would have drastically changed that entire experience, but you know, that's just how life is sometimes. It is what it is. I ended up getting this $2 ice cream cone at this 7-Eleven here. Does anybody else purchase a regrettable amount of dairy products in countries across the world that have very different dietary standards? In particular when it comes to dairy products. Anybody else do that? Because I have not stopped purchasing dairy products since I've been here. I don't even buy this at home. It's like with the vanilla Coke. It probably exists in North America. I've just never purchased Coke in my life in North America. I've never purchased soft drinks. All these drinks probably exist, but it's just a big deal because I'm here. Anyway, we're gonna finish this ice cream and then we might buy another one. We'll see. I need to eat all the ice cream now because when I'm back home, I don't need ice cream. So I'll eat it now. Cut that last part. This young woman just pulls up on her bike right now while I'm standing outside the 7-Eleven, leans it against that wall right there, clearly sees that I'm here with no bike, on foot. Bike's still leaning on the wall over there, looks at me, goes into the 7-Eleven, it's 5 minutes she's in there. Another example is something that you could never do in North America. Never. That's how you lose your bike. This homeless person real estate unhoused individual real estate looks honestly not that bad. I mean, look how much you could fit here. Here we call them benches, but back home we call these unhoused real estate. That's a joke. Don't cancel me. Or if you're gonna cancel me, I mean, there's so many other worse things I've said. That's not even close to the worst thing. If you're gonna cancel me over that, really, I mean, at this point, you don't even know me. Wait until you watch my other videos. No clue what any of this is, but it seems like a big deal. Everybody's taking photos and videos. Apparently it's an afternoon baseball game. It seems to be like it's a really big deal. That guy's eating an ice cream. You know what? I think we're gonna buy another ice cream. Yeah, that ice cream was $5. No chance we're getting that. Are you crazy? $5 for... Get out of here. Seriously. $5. We're not gonna buy that. Crazy. That's insane. That's like almost 1/3 of the Canadian price. I'm not gonna buy that. It's crazy. From what I understand, this is an old tobacco factory that has now turned into some art cultural center. And needless to say, the boys would be livid to hear that they're no longer producing tobacco here. And instead, it's just artists of some sort. Where's the entrance? We're gonna find the entrance and we'll take a look and I'll let you guys know. But yeah, absolutely, the boys would be distraught to hear that not only can you no longer smoke inside, but they're reducing tobacco manufacturing. All right, for real, where's the entrance here? Hey, look, more benches. Surely there's got to be a majestic bench somewhere around here. Nowhere? Let's keep walking. Of all places not to have benches, and it's this place in the middle of the former tobacco factory, now art culture area. I just want to sit down. Actually, I don't want to sit down. I just want to see a majestic place to sit down. If I were to want to sit down, you know what I mean? What's with the fire suppressors? What's going on over here with all these extinguishers? I feel bad. I just tried a bunch of free samples, and then the people really went into it telling me it's homemade and all this. Except that none of them were good. Not the granola, not the dried pineapple. They weren't good. I mean, I didn't want to tell them, but I mean, I had the free sample. I said, "Wow, you know, I was really selling it with the expression." They were not good. I would not pay money for that. Felt really bad. because they were very passionate about it. All this stuff is homemade, artisanal, made in Taiwan stuff, which is strange because we usually want stuff made in Taiwan so it's cheaper, sort of like our sportswear, yet here it's a good thing if it's made in Taiwan, whereas for us it's not back home. There's some sort of expos going on everywhere. There just seems to be exhibitions of some sort. I don't know if this is a regular thing or if this always happens. And I'm not quite sure. Over here I think there's a bodybuilding competition. Maybe in this one. Doesn't look like we could go in though. It looks like we need tickets. Oh well. Keep moving on. We'll go into wherever it's free. Not really much to show on the camera though. It's just a bunch of small markets. Just selling jewelry and other trinkets. Nothing really too interesting. So you weren't allowed to film inside, but once you got inside, there was a line of Taiwanese models, and needless to say, my cousin Adam could never go there. That would be bad news for him. We would basically never see him again. I mean, he'd definitely dehydrate just upon entering. He could absolutely not see what I just saw. Adam, if you're watching this, don't go to that bodybuilding show where when you enter there's a line of Taiwanese females greeting you and handing you free things. Don't go there. You can't go there. Just walked out of Seaman Station. Yes, you heard correctly, and I get a really strong Japanese vibe in this area. We're gonna take a walk around and see if we find anything interesting. Check out the lineup for those donuts. And then there's a G-Wagon parked in front, likely the person selling those donuts. Huge line. Place reminds me of Shibuya. Same kind of store, same style of everything, really. That's what it is, like the Taiwanese Shibuya. Or maybe Shibuya is copying Taiwan. One of them's copying the other. But either way, it's cool to see. Prep's taking too long. I'm already bored. Time to move on. How is that Taiwan's #1 souvenir? How? Why am I seeing those posters everywhere? That's most definitely not the #1 souvenir. Anyway, we got out of the bustling area. A lot of those street performers, honestly, are subpar at absolute best. I can't believe that people were giving money and the amount of money. Also, the price of things are crazy. Like the shaved mango ice or whatever is 21 Canadian at that one place. It was like 500 Taipei dollars or something. I was like, that is... Like, do I get to pick my own mango from the tree or from the ground, however that works? Shaved ice, I don't even know what that means. But needless to say, I did not buy it. And that's just that. I mean, we're not going to spend 500 Taiwanese dollars on some mango shaved ice. And there was a lineup too. Crazy. I'm in the wrong business. This thing is huge. I want one of these in my living room. Imagine you walk in, you just see this. See, this is how you promote people going back to the theaters. You have things like this. We're now at Taipei main station, heading back towards the hostel so we could destroy one of the toilets, change the socks, wash my face, hands, you know, the usual refresh, and then we will be heading back out. That's where we are right now. That's the main station right there. This large building. How do we cross the street here? Can I just run across? How do I cross the street? What's going on? Where are the lines? Well, we just ran across. There's no other way to make it. Here we could see the local street vendor selling some sort of flatbread dressed with something, working hard while the other woman at the front collects the money, packages the product, and sends the people off. It's always interesting how whenever I see these street vendors, the person who takes the money and packs the product and gives it to you is always really angry at you. I mean, I'm bringing you business. What are you angry about? I'm giving you money. What are you angry about? Stop being angry. You're not working hourly. That's your business. And then usually the person who's cooking is completely oblivious to anything going on. They're just on autopilot, cooking, frying, whatever it is they're doing. They are not paying attention. Something that smells weird around these parts. I was smelling it in Malaysia as well. I'm smelling it here. There's something that just... Is it stinky tofu from one of the vendors at somewhere down the street? I'm not quite sure. Between the durian, between the stinky tofu, between the sewage, a lot of these markets just don't smell good at all. Also, we're on the balcony of the hostel right now, just hanging out. Anyway, we're gonna go back down to the street. We're gonna see what's going on. And we'll take it from there. These are all police motorbikes. They dispatch the bikes, not the cars. I'm being told there's a park alongside the water here. So we've been walking for about 15 minutes west. Need to yell a bit because these bikes are loud. So we've been walking about 15 minutes west, and we'll hit this park and we'll see what's going on there and what isn't. Once more, these motorbikes are everywhere. They're just flooded on the sidewalk, on the street, in alleyways. I've seen people even bring them into restaurants and seat them next to their table. They're just everywhere, the motorbikes. They're all over the place. So many people outside, men, women, young, old. It's good to see playing sports. It's good to see. Well, that's a tourist trap. It's just a bunch of containers selling food stall food at 2-3 times the price. Like popcorn chicken for approximately 25 Canadian dollars, which is crazy. Yeah, we're not going back there. I'll be honest, that Riverside Park was a bit underwhelming. The view is really not that impressive. It was cool to see a lot of people outdoors and playing sports and just hanging out. That's something that I always enjoy seeing. However, apart from that, the performances that were going on were subpar. Nice, the GTR. The performances that were going on were subpar. The food from those container trucks was insane. 500 Taiwan dollars for popcorn chicken was insane. Yeah, overall unimpressive, so I decided to walk back more inland. We're nearly wrapping up here the third night, I think, our last night. Tomorrow we head to Okinawa. I think we got quite a few things done. There's a lot of things that aren't on camera as well that I did that I just didn't bother showcasing for whatever reason, no reason in particular. But I really do wish we had today's weather yesterday, considering the amount of outdoors or outdoorsy things that were being done. But, you know, these are things that you can't control. But weather like this would have definitely changed yesterday's experience, considering most of the views that we saw were hindered because of the clouding, the fog, the whatever was going on. In terms of getting around, the metro is really not that complicated. I've only had to use the metro and my own feet. Been walking around. The intersections here are huge. It's crazy. Sometimes you're waiting 2 full minutes at a red light. How much does something like that cost? And where would you even get that? If you're wondering, yes, I am in fact having more dairy product in a foreign country with this ice cream from 7-Eleven. Fun fact about the ice cream here is that it's made using sheep milk. I made that up. I made that up right now. But you know what? It could be true. Haven't looked into it. For all we know, what I just said is true. We'll cut that. A store that sells only scales. Never seen that before. Anyway, that sums up our trip to Taiwan, home of the best semiconductor production in the world. We will call it here and we'll head to Okinawa next. Yeah, that's just crazy. That's crazy. Out in the open like that.